So today we continue with our class, people's money, and this session and all of them that we're going to learn today, Be'ezras Hashem, should be dedicated to Rifuah Shlema of our dear Rabbi Lerner. I spoke to him, so he said he's going to back to Shiurim, and right, it's a miracle of its own, Baruch Hashem, and hopefully because of our learning as well, Be'ezras Hashem, everything helps. And right, so his name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also, Rifuah Shlema to dear friends Yehudis Bas Noach, Ariel Ora Basana, and Imim Rasi Rachel Bas Brindel, David Shlomo Ben Sandra. Also, a quick release of our dear friend Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina. All right, so we continue today with our book Others People Money, and be on section B, believe it or not. And our topic is going to be stealing by refusing to pay. And of course, we discussed it in introduction. We gave you a few examples, but now we're going to deep into it. And I think it's very, very common thing as people refuse to pay. And how do I know? Because I had many questions from different people, from different countries, ask about this topic, right? Should I pay them? Do they have to return them? They're not honest. They did not pay me salary. They did this, or this to me, that to me, and that's what they do to other people. And from here, you see that how Satan is working to rationalize. So why I don't have to return them, or whatever I think should be mine. Okay. So stealing by refusing to pay. Okay. We have a little table, so it says so first so this section consists of 4 parts, so I'm just do a quick review so we have the whole picture. So first one was ordinary stealing. We covered it, A. So now is B, stealing by refusing to pay. C, stealing by capitalizing on the victim's mistake. All right, and D, stealing by borrowing without permission. Okay, so and now we're in section B, and we're going to discuss subsections. Refuse to pay a loan, very common, unfortunately. Refuse to pay for merchandise. Refuse to pay for wages. Refuse to pay rent. Refuse to pay a deposit. Right, return deposit. Return deposit maybe today is not so common, but in older days it was very common, because there were no banks, as you know today. So all of the money were cash. So if you go in somewhere or there were no safe deposit box in a bank. So like if you have valuables and you need to go somewhere, I don't know, travel to your brother's son wedding, for example, to another town, another country, guess what? You're living for 3 weeks, 1 month, something, right? So what are you going to do with your valuables? You're going to leave it in your house? It's going to get robbed, right? So people used to deposit these valuables with somebody else. Okay. And today, I'm not sure. Even today, you left like a diamond. Let's say you left a diamond, and I mean there is the diamonds are the diamonds. You said it's this size. They said they give you half of that size or something, or not as good quality or something. You said no, it's yours. You understand? Okay, so let's start. The Torah commands us to pay our debts. Refusing to pay someone who has loaned us money or who has given us service or merchandise is a form of stealing, called oshek. Pressing our friend by refusing to pay for something is he willingly gave us. Okay. The prohibition of oshek encompasses the refusal to pay even very small sums of money. For example, customer purchase $76.25 worth of merchandise on credit, and he sent the vendor $75. check as a payment in full. Right. If the vendor did not agree to the reduction, the customer is guilty of transgressing the prohibition of Osher. Right. It makes no difference whether one refuses to pay outright or deceives the victim into believing that there is no debt. In either case, he is guilty of Osher. Furthermore, if he does not want to pay and give the victim a run around until the victim becomes too exasperated to come for his money, this too is considered Osher. Okay, so this session is like introduction. So let's do this introduction, and then on the next page he's going to go into details. So there are some commentaries, many commentaries. Okay, so let's do from the beginning, try to understand. The Torah commands us to pay our debts. So it's not a just good idea, it's not only fair thing to do, it's obligation, absolute obligation to pay. And there I think we said in the introduction, or I learned it in the Sefer Chachinuch. So like there is separate mitzvah to pay on time, to report, to return deposit. Like there are several mitzvah that have to do with paying whatever we owe, right? Or in business transaction, don't cheat each other. Okay. So again, the Torah commands us to pay our debts. So it's not just a good idea; it's a pure, like straightforward Torah commands. Refusing to pay someone who has loaned us money, right? So okay. So before we continue, so I think that's very common, and I heard it many times when persons say, yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, they don't need the money, look, they bought a 3-story house and 5 times garage, and like they have a in-ground pool, like what is this $100 is going to give them? Like they spend on cleaning lady 3 times as much, like for sure they don't need my money, but me, without this $100, I'm going to suffer, I'm going to suffocate, I'm not going to have something to eat. And people are rationalized. And few times in my life, I was listening to this voice notes, and I was shaken. I could not believe that it's coming from a person who I actually know, and who portrayed themselves as religious people. You understand? So I could not believe my ears. That's what I heard. Right? So refusing to pay someone who has loaned them money. Okay, come to it. If one owes money but has a counterclaim against his creditor, or a dispute the amount due, he may not be allowed to refuse payment of undisputed part. In cases such as this, one should consult the competent halachic authority. So let's go over it again, and let me see. If one owes money but has a counterclaim against credit, yes, I owe you 200, but you actually did not pay me this and that, 150. So I'm not going to pay. Or even let's say I owe you 200 and you owe me 230 because this and that, because you did this and that damage to me. Okay, so meaning so he wants to keep this money, even though the claim is good or not, that it's absolutely irrelevant. So right, it says again, if the owner if one owns the money and has a counterclaim against the creditor, even for a larger amount, right, or dispute the amount due, right, he may not be allowed to refuse the payment, the undisputed part. Right, so at least, I mean, I think he said at least undisputed part. So I think the way I understand, he has to pay whatever he has to pay, and take this guy to court, right, and try to get from money that he thinks belong to him. In cases as such, one should consult with a competent halachic authority, or just if a person believes, has some grounds to believe that if I'm going to pay him money, he's not going to pay me whatever my part. They can go to court right away, and that let court settle this case and tell if it has to be these loans or claims have to be cancel out, and he has to pay the guy the difference of $30. Let it be, but they cannot just refuse to pay, right? But if there is an undisputed, just if we go straightforward what it says here, some is undisputed. I owe you 200, but you owe me 150, so pay me 50 at least, right? Pay me 50, and about the rest, you can go to court and see. So there is no problem in going to Jewish court, right? It's many times people cannot see the truth, and these cases that I just told you. So if you ask these people, I mean, I think if you would take that person from the equation, they would give you all of the right answers, and they would not have any doubt, and they would tell you about having bitachon and Hashem and all these right things. As we had this clip, right, from whom? From Beis Halevi himself. The story from Beis Halevi. I'm not sure if we released it or not. Don't remember, right? But quickly, just to remind us, because it's very appropriate for this place. One secretary, a very rich person, came to Beis Halevi in Brisk in it's Belarus now. I'm not sure it was Poland there, Lithuania. I'm not sure. Whatever was it, right? So he came to Beis Halevi and says, Rabbi, I don't know what to do. He said, what happened? He said, I got a telegram from a company, from company, that the biggest ship with all of the merchandise of this my boss, this very person, a very important person, full of merchandise, actually sunk in a sea. That's it. It is confirmed. They did not confirm right away. Now it's confirmed. So it's he lost a lot of money. So what should I do if I'm going to tell him he's going to kill me? He's going to have a heart attack. So I cannot bring this to him. So and basically he said, okay, show me a telegram. And he showed me the telegram. It says exactly as this guy said. No problem. He said, no problem. Send it to me. This rich businessman and this rich businessman. Right, heard. Oh, Rabbi wants to hear to see me, and he comes to knock at the door. Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef Dov Salvation, that's all holy tzaddik, was learning Torah. This guy comes, Rabbi, did he call me? He said, yeah. One second. And he was into he made put all the whole show right in a sense that he's into the sugya, and he could not understand. And the businessman was starting feeling why did he call me? He said, Rabbi, can I help you? Is it any trouble in the Torah? I'm not a big Talmud Chacham, but maybe I know. Everybody thinks that they know more than the rabbi, right? And yes, he said, look, I don't understand. It's from Talmud Brachas. So how is it possible that you can bless Hashem with the same sincerity for something bad as something for when we have here good tidings, and you have you hear bad tidings? How is it possible? He said, Baruch Dayan Chametz, we say. Blessed is Hashem, true judge. How is it possible with the same sincerity as a person heard that that they announce, you have lung cancer, right? And you have 3 weeks to live. And he said, Baruch Dayan Chaemes, like with a fire, I don't know, with the same passion as his son, his son and his wife gave birth to a boy, and now he's going to be a grandpa for the first time with the same happiness. How is it possible? So he said, I don't understand. He said, Rabbi, let me tell you. And this guy, he said, maybe I don't know much, but they taught it in yeshiva. You have to have bitachon in Hashem, and it's up to Hashem, and he's the ruler of the world, and he can take, and he can give, and he can give again. And say, Rabbi, okay, absolutely, you're amazing. And I'm very glad that you said that. And he showed it in the telegram. And this guy read it, passed out on the floor. So what does it mean? So when we're talking about somebody else, right, we're very righteous and very bal bitachon, but when it comes to our court, right, sometimes people, right, all of us, right, not so much like sometimes, like at least first reaction is taken aback and right try to find the solution. And sometimes I did not make this clip, but I have the material. Sometimes a person would try, like one of the reaction, to go in a crooked path because they see maybe Hashem is not there, or he's not going to help me in that situation. So which is very dangerous. Okay, so that's what he's saying in this commentary. Okay, so let's do from the beginning of the sentence, and it says, refusing to pay someone who has loaned us money, right? So meaning, as I said, I heard it with my own ears, say, no, they did not need, they reached this and that, and they forgot they would forgive me. So I said, look, if you're so sure that they're going to forgive you, so I'll go and ask them. There's no, like, the easiest route. If you think, if you cannot pay, you cannot pay for whatever reason, like, look, if somebody cannot pay, we don't blame this person right away. So, but you cannot refuse to pay. So, if you cannot pay, go to them and say, look, I told you that I'm going to pay you 1,000 by 3 weeks ago, but right, I know I overdue, but I could not pay then, and I cannot pay right now. But 1,000, but I can pay you $12 every month. How about that? But he said, maybe I'm going to squeeze $12.50, but that's all I can pay, right? And he showed you the reason. So meaning what? So if that person wants to forgive and said, you know what, $12.50, that's how bad situation, forget it. I forgive you the whole loan. Or the person can say, okay, $12.50, that's what I'm going to take. Well, what can I do? You understand? So, but if they forgive you, there is no problem. There is no problem. You forgive them. Just make sure that they like sincerely forgive you. But just refuse to pay because you think they would forgive you. It does not work this way. Continue. Or one who has given us service or merchandise in the form of or who has given us a service or merchandise is a form of stealing, called oshek. So some people they would do service. A plumber comes and he did whatever he did, and they agree on the price, and maybe you already agree, and you see that the guy actually worked. You see these pipes, he cut pipes, he replaced, he did faucet, this and that. Said no, actually, you know what? I actually consulted with my brother-in-law, and whatever he said, it's too much. right. I'm going to pay you half of it, or you know what? I don't have money to. So what do you mean you don't have money to? I told you the price in the morning. You went. You said you're going to the bank, so I need my money. No, like leave now. You understand? And I heard from these people that's sometimes what other people do to them. Okay, right. So this is called oshek, right? So it's still meaning refusing to pay for the service or merchandise. So just because he did not give something to somebody physical, but he provided source, she provided source, they must pay. Okay. Oppressing our friend by refusing to pay for something he willingly gave us. Okay. Oppressing our friends by refusing to pay. So meaning somebody said, look, you're in a great need. I'm going to give you this, so you pay when you want. And guess what? I'm not going to pay. Why? Right? And there's the guy is holding money from Akum. Right? See here and there. So about Akum, as we said before, it could be Hil Hashem, especially these non-Jews. And they non-Jews, some of them, not everybody, but some of them, many of them, have a special feelings to religious Jews. So like some like Hashem create a chain, this special feelings, so they actually treat the religious Jews very well. So now if this non-Jew step forward and offer you help, and now you go like you know that you have to pay. If he's going to refuse, it's his own business. Maybe you like at least you have to offer once. If it's a Jew, maybe you have to offer twice. But a non-Jew, or whatever they did for to us, we have to pay. At least offer a pay. If they refuse, no problem. Okay, so we have a commentary. Exception: the prohibition of oshek applies only where the person has sufficient fund to repay the loan, wages or rental fees, but refuses to pay his debts. If person has neither money nor assets, there is no oshek, as will be explained in section B1. So we go. So it's B. We're going to get to it. Okay. So let's see. Exception: the prohibition of oshek applies only when there's a person has sufficient funds to pay the loan. So as one of our dear students going through this troublesome time, right, and cannot lost a job and does not have, unfortunately, the apply everywhere, and nobody wants to accept. Did not pay for car insurance, this insurance, or for car payment. So I told this person, you have to call this company, let them know that you're not running away, you're in such a situation, and plus about rental, right? So don't kill yourself, right? So we're not allowed to do something to ourselves. Right, so of course I understand a person in such a stress, but we believe in Hashem, and we've actually recorded several clips about this topic, and I skipped few topics and recorded specifically for that dear student of ours. Right, so it says, Beis Halevi teaches us when you don't have any natural ways to do a shtadlus, right? So you're absolved. You're absolved from Mishnahs completely. You don't have to do anything. So meaning that looks like, according to what that person told me, that they did everything they could. Okay, so that's it. So you're not, and I said you have to pay for your food, right? If you cannot get a food stamps or something from government, so only for cash. So yeah, you must save this money. Don't pay electric, don't pay this, don't pay that. Pay for your food, for medicine. You have to survive, right? But that's a different story. But many people are not in this situation. They're not. And I remember the guy, sometimes he joined us, not this class, different class, and he asked me all of this question about tzedakah, how can this maser, this can be right off, and sometimes I get annoyed. And then he said, I'm not going to join, right? So what's going on? We're going to vacation. Like you told me 2 weeks ago that you cannot pay for anything, hardly you have something to feed the children. Now you're going to vacation. Yeah, we need. Or another guy said, yeah, but about the furniture I gave them deposit is a leather couch. You told me all these things, but that's what people do. So I mean, sometimes they forget what they said to somebody, and when person does not have Hashem above them. There's you can expect from these people anything, and I'm talking about people who consider themselves religious. I'm not talking about not religious. I'm not talking about non-Jews. Unfortunately, the prohibition of oshek encompasses the refusal to pay even very small amount of sum of money. So meaning it does not matter if it's more than a pruta, right? Pruta, we said that it's a small coin, the smallest. Currency for which you can buy things, right? In that country, okay, in that country at that time, okay. So meaning, if that person is not happy, so it is stealing. So okay, so here, for example, customer refuses 70s, right? Customer purchased 76.25 worth of merchandise on credit. So on credit meaning it's not on a credit card. So when I first I was passed, it's not a credit card. It's like a store credit in a sense, store credit. I mean, in olden days, Today, these people in a store, they don't want to deal with that. Simply, they do not want to deal with that, and they prefer to pay this credit card fees, whatever, 4.5, 3%. So right, so then deal with the customer directly, right? So and he sent the vendor $75 check as a payment in full, and the vendor did not agree to the reduction. Right, the customer is guilty of transgressing the prohibition officer. So this customer said, look, he's making money. Look, I check on the internet. I check on that side. He overcharged. Look, he gave you the price. You agreed to the price. He did not say the cheapest price. If you find 3% cheaper, I'm going to give you for free. He never said that. So he said, this is the price. Right, you want to buy, you buy. You don't want to buy, you don't buy. But not to pay me, it's not proper. So at least, as I said, you can always try to negotiate things, right? If he's going to agree, there is no problem. But not to pay him, and he does not agree, so it's still 100%. So it's not the amount; it's a principle. Okay, and people always try to rationalize themselves. Okay. Continue. It makes no difference whether one refuses to pay outright or deceives the victim into believing that that there is no debt. Right. In either case, guilty of oshik. So that's if he refused to pay outright. And I also remember, there are some people, they're so unorganized. Right, and they take money, do not take money. Sometimes he crosses the names, does not. So basically, it's honor system. So meaning you remember that you pay. And I remember I had to deal with a guy like that, and sometimes he would not have a change for me. So it's cash only business, right? $2, $3, right? Or no, he said, no, you owe me. No, he said, you going to owe me, or I owe you. So I mean, like $1, $2, so there's no problem. He did not have change, right? And I had to remember, I had to write down, this person was so honest. Like other people would say, no, okay, they would try to do something, but this guy was so honest. No, he said, I know. You Jew, you're honest, you're going to pay. It's better that you owe me than I owe you, because I might forget, but I know you're never going to forget. So there's people like that. Of course, I as soon as I would go out of his store, I put myself cell phone like reminder next time I'm there. Like I usually would go to that store once a week, so I would put myself a reminder. But other people, they would simply, most likely the guy is going to forget. So maybe if it's like 10% of the sale or 5%, most likely he does not care. Most likely he's going to forget, right? So which is absolutely wrong, absolutely wrong. Okay, so again, whether it's completely refusal or even like make him believe that you pay. Furthermore, if he does not want to pay and give the victim runaround until the victim becomes too, if he does not want to pay and gives victim runaround until the victim becomes too exasperated to come for his money, this is to consider oshek. Sorry. So meaning what he said, no, come on Tuesday. Yeah, but I live in different the town. Yeah, I apologize. I don't have money. They did not pay me. Oh, Tuesday, maybe on Wednesday. So what is it, Tuesday or Wednesday? I have to come after work, take 2 trains. Yeah, I know. I apologize. Yeah, try Thursday. You just said Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Thursday, and then Thursday you come. I mean, he's not there. I mean, today is with all of the online transaction, it's much easier, right? But in olden days, it was very hard. But even then, today, he said, no, I don't do on computers. I heard it also, right? From somebody. Like, I don't do all the computers. I don't do Vemna. I don't know this, what is it, other like Chase, or whatever, other application. No, I don't do. I do only cash. So you want your money, come and take cash. All these things. And sometimes a person just calculate how much is going to cost me gas or like a public transportation, go one way and another way, and how much time I wasted. So Just let it be. So, but it's mancha. Just because he does not come any longer does not mean that he forget. It's 100% stealing. Okay. So let me quickly check time. Okay, so let's continue. So we still have time. Let's continue. So now we're going to all of these separate categories. So category 1, refuses to pay a loan. Okay, so number 1. When borrower denies owning money that he borrowed, or develops some sort of rationalization to justify not repaying it. I'm sorry. He is guilty of transgressing the Torah command of Oshek. Note: there is also a positive Torah commandment to repay a loan. If person has the money and does not repay it, he forfeits this Torah commandments. This is akin of having tefillin and not putting them on, or having opportunity to hear shofar being sounded on Rosh Hashanah and not going to hear it. A person who would like to repay a loan but does not have sufficient funds to do so is not guilty of oshek. However, there is a specific halachic criteria as to what constitutes insufficient funds. Double quote. If he has insufficient funds to meet his basic food needs for 30 days and his basic clothing and shelter needs for 12 months, his wife and children are not included, and has no assets, it's not so simple. We're going to explain that. Other than a utensil and essential for his craft or profession, he may defer paying. One who believes that he is exempt because of inadequate funds should consult with competent halachic authority to see if his situation exempt from oshek. So from my experience, all of these people, they just did not want to pay, period. It's not because of they don't have money. This formula is not, I'm not sure why he does not explain, but we'll try to add to it. It's not so simple. So again, refuses to pay the loan. Okay, from the beginning, with commentary, and we explain. Bezos Hashem. When the borrower denies owing money that he borrowed, okay, or develops some sort of rationalization to justify not repaying. Borrower denies owning the money that he borrowed. So let's see the commentary. People who borrow money from Gmach should be especially careful to repay their loans in full and on time. So Gmach is like a Jewish society, right? Loan society that just some people from community, they put money together. You give 200, I give 200, and all of like 20, 40, 50, 100 families got together. So now it's a large amount of money, right? And one of us needs money, like for a wedding, for this and that, like medical expense. So they gave us. Of course, you have to pay them back. It's not a grant. It's like it's a loan. The loan's free, free of interest. And if you're honest person, they're going to give you if they have, in this kupa, in this what is it? In that on that account, if they have, they're going to give it to you. So it's like a community funding, right? So again, when a borrower denies owning the money that he borrowed, so denied meaning maybe there were no witnesses, maybe they forgot to sign some kind of shtar, some kind of document, right? And it says that the person, I think I have we had a clip about it. So a person absolutely must, and if he does not do so, he is considered to be wicked. Well, what must? He must, when he borrows, when he lends money to somebody, he has to make sure that there is a shtar, a sign, or a shtar is a document, or there are witnesses, or if both would be even better. Why? Because when he does not do so, he in a sense putting a stumbling block in front of the blind. Right? Some people say, oh, like how he's going to prove that I owe him money? There's no proof. And plus he's rich, and plus his daughter is like this, and his son, I don't know, he did not say good morning to me like 3 times in a row, so they might hate me. If they hate me, guess what? I'm not going to pay. Like, what is the connection? But people would rationalize, right? Since there is no proof, and why and who is in fault? A person, the lender, who said, no, this guy, this Moshe, you don't know much, but I know much. When we were in the 3rd grade, and he did this to me and his father, and my father did to him, to his father and grandfather, and all of our families like go 3 generations back to the old country. And right, do I need, like, if I'm not going to like trust Moshe, who else can I trust? And guess what? And Moshe turned sour a little, as sometimes people do, because of the pressure from Satan and stuff like that, from his wife, from Satan, and both of them together, or wife become a Satan. It doesn't matter, like Korach's wife, all of these things, right? And who is it for? And this, it's actually Halacha. I think it's from Sefer HaChinuch. We said, who is it for? That clown that said, I'm going to trust him, even though Torah says you're a sinner. If you're going to lend somebody money without what is it? Without the document and without witnesses, you're the sinner, because you tempt him or her to not to return the loan and be a sinner. Understand? Put a stumbling block in front of the blind. So even though, like, when a few times when I lended money, so like to one person, even though I respect this person, love him very much, he's very dear to me, but I told my wife, looks like I most likely we're not going to see the money. It's not because he's too naive. He was borrowing from somebody else. So I said, you know what? He asked for this amount. We cannot afford, but lesser amount we can afford as tzedakah. So I'm going to give it to him. Of course, we're going to sign the document, and if he's like he would not be able to pay, like it's all tzedakah, so that's what's planned, right? But still, like, even though I knew that he's an honest person, but anyway, the law is the law. We have to sign the document. And we signed, and he returned, of course, not on time, 2 years later, but he did return. Understand? But this, if without the document, so don't be overly righteous, right? Don't be overly righteous, because Torah calls that person a sinner. So again, the whole sentence, and we continue. When the borrower denies owning money that he borrowed, or develops some sort of rationalization to justify not paying, again, as we said, right, he is guilty in transgressing the Torah commanded of worship. So as he said, no, this guy, he's a pikorus. Okay, so yeah, he's like a goy. I don't have to pay. People do all of these things, right? Yeah, but when you borrow from him, he was not a pikorus, right? So you have to pay based on when he was when you borrow from him. The Chafetz Chaim writes, Chazal label a person rasha, wicked. Also, it is important to know that a person who wrongfully holds someone else's money will ultimately become unsuccessful. His assets will leave him, and he will leave his assets, or he will leave his assets. Holy Chafetz Chaim. So meaning if a person create all of this rationalization in their head, and he saves the money, and that person lost hope to get this money. So guess what? First of all, this money is not going to bring him anything. He will become unsuccessful, and he's going to leave his money. Maybe he's going to lose, or his money is going to leave him. I mean, the assets will leave him, right? Meaning he's going to lose money, or he's going to leave his assets, meaning he's going to die. Hashem has his own ways. He's a true judge. So we have to be careful not to have other people's money. Note, there is also positive Torah commandment to repay the loan, right? So to repay the loan and repay in time. Okay. And just before we continue, it's very important. So we're not allowed to borrow the money. It's actually like outright sin. We're not allowed to borrow the money if you don't have a plan how we're going to pay it back. And said, no, you don't understand. I have a bitachon that Hashem is going to help you. Yeah, you have bitachon that Hashem is going to help. So maybe He can help you without this loan. You understand? So we have to have some reasonable plan how I'm going to get this money. So you can say, I just started a new job, and they told me like 3 months, like this, what was it, like internship, right? Maybe like a quarter of the salary, but then they're going to give me the full salary. But I know that I qualify, I know the job, I this and that. The boss like me, everybody likes me. So meaning that he has his projection that he can get the money. He's going to get the salary. So meaning something like that. I mean, I don't know. His father-in-law promised him or something like something. It must be something tangible. So he cannot say Hashem is going to help me from what? I'm going to buy the lottery ticket. So go buy your lottery ticket and don't borrow the money from anybody. So again, when person borrows the money, absolutely must know how they're going to repay it. Okay. So without counting on any miracle, Hashem decided to do the miracle. So count on the miracle itself. Don't go to other people. Right. That's what I told one person as well some time ago. Okay, so again, note, right, okay, so what's up? So if person has the money and does not repay it, right, he forfeits the Torah commandment, right, meaning positive Torah commandment to repay it. It is akin for having tefillin and not putting them on. Or having, I'm not sure, like, so meaning he has tefillin in general and not putting them on, or having the opportunity to hear shofar and does not do. The truth, I'm not sure why he's stopping here, because there is a negative commandment that not to hold somebody else's money. So I'm not sure why he's saying it's only positive. Okay, so continue. A person who and actually just a quick insight. So we learned on Friday morning. So we learned with somebody Shari Teshua, Rabbi Lerner Zatzal. So Rabbi Lerner said in a section when he discusses the punishment or severity of transgressing negative commandments, now we're up to positive commandments. So he said very, very clear. Rabbi Lerner is very clear. So he said that somebody who transgresses the positive commandment, he transgresses negative commandment to follow Hashem said and absorb all of the words that it says in my Torah. So that's meaning that right. So meaning person transgressed that, or no. It says it was negative. So do not desecrate my Torah. Do not transgress any words that it says here. So meaning it is negative command. So every time, bottom line, every time, according to Rabbi Lerner, I'm not sure if it's everybody of our sages agree, but Rabbi Lerner is Rabbi Lerner. You cannot just discount it. It's very, very holy sage, right? So he said, right, he put it as halacha, actually, right? So the person who transgresses a positive actually transgresses not only positive, but also a negative as well. Okay. So continue. A person who would like to repay the loan but does not have sufficient funds to do so is not guilty of oshek. So, and that's what I said. I explained to this friend of ours. So I said, yeah. So I mean, I said, save money for the food, whatever. Have this insurance, car insurance, this. Okay. Now, like for you, it's a matter of survival. Okay. However, there is a specific halachic criteria as to what constitutes sufficient funds. Sufficient funds. Right. If it has sufficient funds to meet the basic food needs for 30 days, okay, which is maybe not a lot, right? And his basic clothing and shelter needs for 12 months. His wife and children are not included, and has no assets other than utensil that essential for his craft profession. He may deter the payment. So if you think about it, like it's on a Torah level. So if we're going to go by this definition, it's Torah definition for sure, right? I think that's definition 200 zuz, right? 200 zuz when a person sign off in ksuba to his wife. So meaning that it's amount of time when in the time of Chazal when you can survive 1 year. Okay, so meaning right. But today, like many people pay like from their salary, I don't know, half of the salary for rent, sometimes 3/4 for rent. So it's a lot. So meaning if you like, they never ever have in a bank like this in assets so much. Never ever. They have a car. Yes. What? Yeah, I have a. It's not your car, right? It's a bank car. Yeah, maybe you gave down payment. Maybe you're doing payments. Yeah, it's going to be yours in I don't know 5 years, 7 years, but it's not yours. You understand? So to say that there's so many people, me personally, I don't know too many people that have that amount of money, that have 12 months in rent ahead, or for example, person pays mortgage, or plus taxes, or maybe the taxes included in the mortgage and in house insurance, the apartment insurance. It's a huge amount of money, huge. Right? In olden days it was cheaper, but today, so meaning most of the people would not need to pay the rent. But today is not exactly true, right? Even though it's a Torah definition, but today there is something different, as we learn in our class Halachos Maaser. So we said it's a little different. When person has a stable job and he or she have a stable paycheck, so they can rely on that paycheck that is going to cover all of the expenses. So you don't need like 12 months in like I had. You have steady job, there is no problem. So next month you're going to have more and more. So as he said, right, if one believes that he's exempt because of inadequate funds, I should consult with competent halakhic authority to see if the situation exempt from Oshik. So from my experience, all the people who consulted me, I told them try to pay all your best, go to these people, beg them, like work out some kind of payment plan, but don't just say I'm not going to pay or I'm too poor, because guess what? You're not too poor. You're not. You can pay something. So cut from your luxuries, wherever luxury is. Like people pay, for example, for a cell phone. They say, yeah, but Rabbi, you know how much a cell phone costs? So I know, I pay for cell phone, and they give me this astronomical, like 4 times more than I pay. I don't know why they need such a plan. Like I have unlimited calls, and I have 15 gigabytes of data, and more than enough. Most of the time, anyway, we use the Wi-Fi, right? So why people would like all the everything unlimited? So from this to come down from this unlimited to limited, so you can save a lot and pay this person. So meaning I offer a few people to go over their finances. I mean, I don't care how much they make, but to help them to see, maybe to save a little bit. All of them refuse. Everybody refused. Because why? Because why people are busy? Because they knew without me, they didn't need me. Like don't understand that there is some things that they can cut for sure. It's like still they're going to eat the same food, or maybe cheaper food, simple food, but still the same in the same apartment. But they would be able to pay wherever they borrow. Okay, so I think we can stop here. It's, as you see, very powerful book. A lot to say, and very practical. So at least speaks to me for sure. All right. So let's do 5 minutes break, and we continue after break. 5 minutes.